Hello everyone, I'm Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IAS English channel. Now recently you must have seen famous celebrities like Karan Johar. They've reduced their weight drastically. But do you know the secret behind that? It is this semaglutide injection. Now these semaglutide injection, these are form of weight loss drugs which have been quite effective in recent times, and we have seen commentary throughout the year regarding these weight loss drugs. So in our today's session, we'll understand how these weight loss drugs work, what are these different kind of weight loss drugs available in the market, and also are they quite effective or not, or whether do they carry some side effects. So in that regard, let us start our today's discussion. But before that, let me tell you the reasons why these drugs have been in news. Now recently there was this study that found that Ozempic drug, which is genetically or generally known as semaglutide, it is quite effective in treating metabolic dysfunctional associated steatohepatitis. Now this MASH syndrome is a serious form of fatty liver disease. So the patients of fatty liver disease, they've actually found this Ozempic drug quite effective in helping them get better. Similarly, another weight loss drug, Tirzepatide, which is commonly known in market like Mounjaro, they've been approved by India's Central Drug Standards Control Organization to be sold in Indian market, and this has been manufactured by a company known as Eli Lilly. Now this drug was given the permission to be sold in Indian markets from March onwards, right? But this is not the only reason why we are covering this article. Also, in month of December, the World Health Organization, the scientists particularly at WHO, they recommended the use of these drugs to be quite effective when it comes to achieving your weight loss targets. Now these drugs are popularly known as GLP-1 receptor agonist drugs, and they actually mimic the hormone which regulate your appetite, as well as they also control the blood sugar levels in our body. So in that regard, let us try to understand few details why actually WHO gave endorsement to these kind of drugs. Now these new kinds of drugs, these are popularly known as GLP-1 receptor agonist drugs, abbreviated as GLP-1 RAs. Now there are two categories of drugs which are called as GLP-1 RAs. These are semaglutide and Tirzepatide, and they have potential to be transformative when it comes to controlling your hunger levels and effective in reducing your weight. Now you must have heard about a very common drug available in India, that is paracetamol. So whenever you have fever, automatically people recommend you to have paracetamol drugs. Now this is the official name of the drugs, that is paracetamol, but the commercial available names of these drugs are Crocin and Dolo. So whenever you go to a market, you ask for Crocin or Dolo medicines, these are effectively what? These are paracetamol. Similarly, semaglutide and Tirzepatide are the ones that we are going to talk about, that these are called as GLP-1 RAs drug, right? Now the commercial name of these drugs, that is for semaglutide, the commercial names are Ozempic as well as Wegovy, whereas it comes to Tirzepatide, we know them in commercial name like Mounjaro and Zepbound. Similarly to what Crocin and Dolo are for paracetamol, similarly Ozempic and Wegovy are semaglutide drugs, whereas Mounjaro and Zepbound are Tirzepatide. Now coming back to our discussion. Now the current policies effectively all over the world, they are promoting healthy diets and physical activity. But even following these kind of diets, we have seen that people have failed to curb their obesity, and therefore the obesity levels throughout the world, including India, have been quite high. So one of the shortcuts in order to reduce your weight, the scientists at WHO, they have recommended use of these semaglutide and Tirzepatide. So let us understand what is the scale of this obesity pandemic throughout the world. Now as you can see from the slides behind me, in 2022, 1 of 8 people living in this world, they had obesity, which amounts to 890 million adults and 160 million children. Now the prevalence of obesity is 2 times more in adults and 4 times more in adolescents as compared to the levels in 1990. And the most shocking part of this discussion is childhood obesity. It plagues almost 7.3 million boys and 5.2 million girls. Now coming to understand the levels of obesity in India, 44 million women living in India and 26 million men, they suffer from obesity. And then because the scale of this obesity pandemic is so high, therefore WHO has recommended use of these drugs. Understood? Now in terms of economic and health related impact, for obesity, you understand the cost associated with obesity is likely to reach $3 trillion by 2030 if not controlled, because countries who have at least 30% prevalence, that is 30% of the country, if it is the people living in that country, 30% of them, they have obesity, then it could absorb 18% of our total national health expenditure. So this adds to the cost that I was talking about relating to obesity. Similarly, obesity in sometimes can also directly or indirectly lead to your mortality, and 5 million obesity related deaths have been observed in the year 2019, which is 12% of all deaths resulting from non-communicable disease. So in order to prevent mortality, in order to prevent cost, that is the burden on healthcare expenditures, and overall to make people more fit and healthy, we need to control obesity. And here comes the drugs like Ozempic, which have been quite effective when it comes to reducing your body weights. Now Ozempic, as I've already told you, is a form of which drug? It is a form of semaglutide drug, and these are quite effective primarily to manage a form of diabetes known as type 2 diabetes. Now how it manages diabetes, that it mimics a natural hormone in your body known as GLP-1, that is glucagon like peptide 1 hormone, and this is mimicked by a synthetic hormone which is available in semaglutide drug known as GLP-1 receptor agnostics, right? So this is why it mimics GLP-1, which is a naturally occurring hormone, and it mimics with a synthetic hormone known as GLP-1 receptor agonist. Now let us understand how this drug Ozempic actually works. Now you can understand, first of all, whenever you eat something, automatically the blood sugar levels in your body becomes high, but body has a natural way to deal with this increased level of blood sugar, that is secretion of a hormone known as insulin. But people who are suffering from diabetes, the secretion of this insulin in them is not that much prominent to control the increased levels in blood sugar. So when you take this Ozempic drug, it synthetically increases the levels of insulin that is produced in your body, and this is stimulated in pancreas, which releases more insulin. And so when you take semaglutide or you take Ozempic, it automatically enables your pancreas to increase more levels of insulin, therefore reducing the levels of blood sugar. Understood? So this is how primarily the Ozempic works. Similarly, Ozempic not just promotes your pancreas to secrete more insulin, it also reduces the levels of glucagon. Now glucagon is a natural hormone that is available in your body, but the glucagon, what it does is that it raises the levels of blood sugar. So by reducing the levels of glucagon in your body, automatically it reduces the chances of you having diabetes, or it reduces the chances of your blood sugar becoming high. So in a way, it increases the production of insulin and it controls the secretion of glucagon. Both of them contribute to lowering of blood sugar in the body. But this is how it controls diabetes. Now let us understand how it promotes reduction in body weight. Now suppose if you are eating any food, automatically when it gets digested, your blood sugar levels becomes quite high. So in order to do that, Ozempic also slows down the process of digestion in your body, which means once the body slows down the digestion process, automatically you feel more and more satiated, you feel less hunger, and when you feel less hunger, automatically the amount of food that you consume will reduce, and therefore it is quite effective when it comes to controlling your hunger appetite. And not just that, this medicine, it also acts on the brain, sending them signals that you actually not require more food. So not just it controls your appetite, but it also sends signals to your brain to reduce hunger, which further enables you to control and manage your body weight quite effectively. Understood? So this is how primarily it was made to ensure control of your blood sugar levels, but indirectly we have also seen that it is quite effective in controlling your appetite, slowing down the stomach emptying or digestion process, and effectively sending the signals to the brain that you require less food. And therefore in completion, you can understand this is quite effective when it comes to reducing your body weight. Now let us understand the difference between these two kind of drugs. I've told you semaglutide and tirzepatide, although they are quite effective in reducing your body weight, but they differ in how they function. Now we were talking about Ozempic. Ozempic is what? It is a semaglutide. So it mimics your natural occurring hormone, that is GLP-1, by bringing what is known as GLP-1 receptor agonist. And it is a hormone which increases insulin, decreases glucagon which is produced in our body, and therefore it reduces the levels of blood or sugar in your blood, and also it slows down stomach emptying and it reduces appetite. Now what is the difference between semaglutide and tirzepatide? That tirzepatide, it mimics not just GLP-1 hormone, but it also mimics another hormone, that is GIP hormone, which is the full form of glucose dependence insulinotropic polypeptide. Now in addition to GLP-1, GIP, it further enhances the production of insulin in your body, and it also has additional effects in your body metabolism. So body, it is essential, it digests slowly and therefore it controls your appetite. So therefore in terms of mechanism of action, you can understand tirzepatide goes well beyond semaglutide in mimicking other hormone in addition to GLP-1. So in terms of effectiveness, you'll see that tirzepatide has shown greater weight loss and better blood sugar managing ability as compared to the semaglutide. So tirzepatide has helped patient lose about 15 to 21% of their body weight, which is compared more than the semaglutide, which reduces your body weight by 10 to 15%. So therefore we understood the difference between these two type of drugs. On the outset, you'll understand both of them have same effect, but when it comes to effectiveness, tirzepatide is more effective as compared to semaglutide, because tirzepatide, it not just mimics GLP-1 but it also mimics GIP hormone. Understood? I hope you have no doubt regarding this. Now let us understand the process of regulatory approval. Now US FDA, that is Food and Drug Administration, which is a regulator in US, it has given approval for Ozempic back in 2017 for treatment of type 2 diabetes. Similarly, another semaglutide drug, Wegovy, which is a higher dose version of semaglutide, it was approved by US FDA for chronic weight management in adults with obesity and weight related conditions like hypertension, type 2 diabetes or high cholesterol. So we understand both of these are what kind of drugs? These are semaglutide, right? And these were given approval by the US FDA in 2017 and 2021. Now let us come back to India. Now Indian government, particularly Central Drug Standards Organization, it gave permission to be the Mounjaro drug, which is a form of tirzepatide drug, and this drug is quite effective in managing diabetes and obesity, which we have already learned, and this was given permission to be sold in India from March onwards, and now this drug is available through select pharmacies as well as hospitals. So you can actually get these drugs from pharmacies and hospitals after the doctor recommends them to you. Now let us understand, are these medicines quite effective in weight loss medicines? Actually, yes, they have helped patients or the consumers of these drugs reduce their weight by 10 to 25%. But it also comes at a significant risk and risk of the side effects. For example, there are severe side effects that have been reported with these drugs, such as gastroparesis, which is a form of stomach paralysis. Similarly, pancreatitis, which is an inflamed form of pancreas, as well as thyroid cancer may also result after you consume these drugs. So these drugs are not without any side effects. Similarly, the persons, they are likely to gain weight once they stop consuming these medicines. So this is also another side effect, that it makes patients dependent on them and they want to continue with their reduction in weight. Also, the demand of these medicines and drugs are quite high, because when celebrities are using it, automatically it sends a signal that this is an effective medicine. But the cost of these medicines are quite high currently because of their high demand, and therefore there is also an issue that the products that you be buying from the market, they are actually counterfeit product, and sometimes when these are not available in the market, they are available in the gray market, where you have to pay much higher than the MRPs of these products in order to gain the dose of these medicines, right? So you understood there are some side effects that may happen in case of you consume these drugs, like gastroparesis, pancreatitis and even thyroid cancer. And also the chances are that because of high demand and high cost, there is a probability that counterfeit products are sold in the market, and sometimes these are also available at gray market at much higher cost. Understood? So this is all I wanted to tell you about these drugs. Now, before concluding this session, I'd like you to solve these kind of questions. One is this question: Wegovy and Mounjaro recently news refers to which of the following? And the next question is this: what is GLP-1 RAs recently in news? So please solve these questions. Do let me know the correct answer in the comment section. And if you want to download the notes, these will be available on my Telegram channel, that is ATS Live. So what you need to do, you need to enter the words ATS Live in the search bar of your Telegram app. You'll find the channel, and if you still are not able to find the channel, please make sure to scan this QR code. Effectively, this will take you to the Telegram channel. So this is all from my side for today. We'll see each other again. So please have a very good night.